that we get to talk to this guy every week again on this show, the great Boomer Esiason. Boomer, hello.
Hey, good morning, guys. How are you? Hopefully you're as excited as I am.
We are very excited, Boomer, and you are brought to us by McFarland Energy, the home heating oil and HVAC pros that Greater Boston and the Cape depend on at McFarlandEnergy.com. By Shaw's and Star Market, perfecting the art of fresh. By Town Fair Tire for the best prices on tires. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. And by your New England Kubota tractor dealers. And Boomer joins us on the Harbor One hotline. And before we go any further, may I say,
yes,
congratulations on your Marconi nomination.
Well, thank you very much, Greg. I really do appreciate that. It means a lot to us down here. I don't know if we'll win it. I know that there is, a number of people that are worthy as well that also have been nominated. So we look forward to hearing the results.
Well, it's it's a nice club to be in, and
I know. You're gonna welcome me with open arms and give me a big hug.
Yeah, and I would say, unlike the 1983 Heisman, go out and bring this thing home, will you?
You guys should do a Marconi house like they do the Heisman house.
Oh, okay.
That could be a good reality show.
Yes.
Well, so how are you guys? All right, good. Courtney and Jermaine, everybody's good?
We're good.
No complaints here, Boomer.
All right, good. I like that, Jermaine. No complaints.
Boomer,
that's what I'm talking about.
You might not know this, but during the offseason, Wiggy was named the head coach of the Brockton High School football team. So he's doing both gigs.
Oh, my God, you're going to have your hands full, but I'm sure you're going to love it, and maybe you're taking the footsteps of Deion Sanders now.
Oh, prime time, man. Love me some prime. No, I just enjoy working with the kids and helping the kids out from an area that's a little bit less privileged than, a lot of places in Massachusetts.
Well, I think it's great, man. Good luck this season.
Appreciate it.
All right, let's get right into it. What, in your mind, what is a successful season for this Patriots team, Boomer?
Well, in my mind, it's got to be, a playoff team. And the reason I say that is because they went out and fixed the offensive coordinatorship. I'm sure you guys have been talking incessantly about that up there in New England. But Bill O'Brien, when he was there last, they were really good. But they also had Tom Brady as quarterback. That certainly helps. But I know they're going to have a top-flight defense. They're going to keep themselves in games. And really what it comes down to is Mac Jones and whether or not he's ready to take the next step. 2 years ago, I voted for him or whenever it was, Rookie of the Year. I thought he had a tremendous rookie season. I thought there was a lot to look ahead to. And unfortunately, Josh McDaniels leaves him. And when he does, he takes a major step back. And we all know about what happened last year with the offense and how the plays were called, designed, and the two different offensive coordinators, all that kind of stuff. All that is out of the way now. And the other thing, too, that people tend to forget is that Mac did get hurt last year. And I think he really came back too early. I think he was afraid to lose his job because we all, as players, do have those insecurities. Bailey Zappi played reasonably well. Not great, but reasonably well. And there was a kind of a firestorm up there, and he never, ever had solid footing as long as, as the season went on and when he came back. So it really comes down to him, guys. If he's ready to go and he's ready to take that next step, then they'll have a good, solid year, which means either 9 or 10 wins.
I think you remember this from last season, but I don't sit alone. Sometimes Curtis sits with me, but oftentimes I sit alone on Mac Island. And there were some on this program who wanted to see Bailey Zappi as the quarterback last season. Were you surprised that the Patriots released him last week?
No, I wasn't surprised. But they brought him back on the practice squad. They have a couple interesting things that they still have to get through with their 53-man roster. First of all, the fact that you have 53 men on your roster and you can't play all 53 is ridiculous to me. You have 47 or a possible 48th, and that 48th being the third quarterback. Now, all of those rules have been defined clearly by the NFL that the third quarterback has to be a part of a 53-man roster. He can't be sitting on the practice squad, then you activate him for game day. It doesn't work that way. So I think that, they still have some roster maneuvering to go through, I think, if they want to carry three quarterbacks. But I also think that, one of the reasons you have Bailey there, and because of his limited success last year, is to basically poke and prod Mac Jones, to make it not easy for him, to make him stand up and be accountable this offseason and show everybody that he can be the unquestioned leader. So I think there was a little bit of a mindset game there being played by Bill Belichick, which I'm sure he's been known to do from time to time. And I think they want more out of Mac Jones. It's as simple as that.
Boomer, do you think Matt Corral could do that for Mac Jones as well, backing him up?
I have no idea. I absolutely no idea. I mean, there's reports that they liked Matt Corral because they had combined practices and they saw him last year. If Matt Corral was so good, he probably would have been claimed by other teams. Right. New England was the only team that claimed him, and they luckily got him. I don't know how much he knows of this offense. I don't know what it means ultimately in the big picture. I would think, my logic tells me that you have to activate Bailey Zappi as the backup quarterback, because if something does happen against Philadelphia here in week 1, I mean, you got to have somebody that can go in there and run the offense, not somebody that's just been plucked off another team, 5 days ago.
Boomer, you talk about the expectations of this team. Let's kind of focus it a little bit to your expectations of Mac Jones, especially knowing that the offensive line has struggled all preseason long and are dealing with some injuries. What does he have to do to prove to this team that, hey, I'm the guy moving forward in the future and you should pick up my 50-year option?
You know what? No turnovers and lots of quick throws, and that's going to be up to Bill O'Brien too. I liken it a little bit to like the redemption role that Zach Wilson's playing for the Jets. This offseason, there were a lot of wide receiver screens, little flares. They try to keep him out of trouble. You can do that with play calling, and then ultimately, hopefully, he keeps his 3 top wide receivers healthy. I don't know, this report about Juju Smith-Schuster's knee is really troubling to me, because if you looked at the skill players that are on the Patriots right now and you compared them, let's say, to the top 5 in the league in terms of skill acquisitions or players, wide receivers, tight ends, running backs, that kind of thing, the Patriots are not, I don't believe, are a top 10 team. I mean, Philadelphia, when they come in, they got playmakers all over the field, including their quarterback. So you'll see a real big disparity between these two teams when you just look at the offensive skill players. So there is a lot of pressure on Mac Jones to be Brady 2.0 if he can be. And that's going to require quick releases. That's going to require accuracy, and that's going to be requiring all in mentally on exactly what they're trying to do against who they're playing. And this week, opening with the Eagles, I know they're celebrating Tom Brady this week and all of these other things that are going to be going on around this game. This would be a right place if you could pick off a team. You'd want to pick off a team like Philadelphia in week 1 because they're going through what the Patriots went through last year. They lost both offensive and defensive coordinators to head coaching jobs this offseason. So it's not going to be smooth sailing for the Eagles starting out, I don't believe.
Speaking of the Jets, as you were, Boomer, I heard your sit down with Aaron Rodgers during training camp, and it sounded like it was love at first sight.
It's been unbelievable. He has basically sucked the entire air out of the NFL and all the storylines. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. I can't remember, even when Peyton Manning went to Denver, I don't remember it being like this. I don't remember it being this like this when Tom went to Tampa Bay. I mean, this has been unbelievable. I mean, he's taken in the U.S. Open this past weekend. He's been to Broadway. He's been to Knick games. He's been to Ranger games. He's been to the Met Gala. It's unbelievable where he's gone and how much publicity that has followed him, including Hard Knocks. So this is going to be either the biggest failure in the history of New York sports or his legacy is going to be like unbelievably cemented with taking the Jets to the Super Bowl.
Well, I was going to ask if it was the Hard Knocks effect, because I hated Aaron Rodgers, started watching Hard Knocks last weekend, and now I'm all in. I might be a Jets fan. Honestly, I'm obsessed with Aaron Rodgers. It was my lead yesterday. Wiggy was here. I am all in on this guy.
Cordy, are you out of your mind?
No, I love him. I love him. I love him.
Do you know where you live? I mean, it's amazing. Yeah. I think he's a great player, and I think they are a terrific team. They have very few weaknesses. Their weaknesses are similar to the Patriots in the fact that their offensive line has kind of been in a state of flux. But if Mekhi Becton does come back and plays as well as he has throughout the preseason and can last the entire year, that's going to be one of the big aspects to their success. But Aaron's been everything you're supposed to be. Tom Brady did that exact same thing when he went down to Tampa. If you remember, Tom was throwing with guys at a local high school during COVID, and they got fined for that. that's the kind of all-in attitude that you hope that a Hall of Famer brings to his new team. And the one thing I will say about Aaron is that he is definitely reinvigorated, if you want to describe it that way. And I do think that he's out to make a statement. So they have a great team. They're loaded in pretty much every position. The most important position for them is going to be defensive line. They're going to have one of the best, if not the best, defensive lines in football with Philadelphia, San Francisco, teams like that. So that defensive line is going to keep them in a lot of games and is going to give them, they should give their offense a lot of pretty good field position.
So if you had to call it today, how do you see the division playing out?
If I had to call it today, I'm going to say it's the Jets, it's the Bills, the Dolphins, and the Patriots as we start the season out. And, anything can happen. It's 17 weeks, or 18 weeks, it's 17 games. Injuries happen. If somebody goes down in week one, which there always seems to be, then all of a sudden the dynamics change. But if you start the season and you want to think, okay, who is the best team? To me, the Jets, they have it on the wide receiver position. They have it at the running back position. They have it at the defensive line position. Their linebackers are tremendous, and their secondary is a really solid secondary. So I would say that they're the best team. That doesn't mean they have the best coach in the division now, and that's always going to be, I think, the rub for everybody else in the division. Bill Belichick still stands head and shoulders above the other coaches within the AFC East.
Boomer, I would say the biggest failure in New York sports is A-Rod. But when you look at this division and you look at like the distance between these teams, when you're talking about the Jets and the Bills and Miami, that distance, where do you see the distance between the Patriots and the rest of those teams, the gap that you might have in this division?
All right, so let me get back to your initial assessment of A-Rod. He did win an MVP here and a World Series. I would have to say that it would be Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant are the two biggest disasters in New York sports history.
Does Brooklyn really count as a New York sports team?
Don't talk poorly about Kyrie Irving when Wiggy's around. Wiggy is on the payroll.
Well, let me also tell you, I don't know if the Nets are considered a New York sports team or not. So, but I can tell you that is by far the biggest disaster in sports history here in New York. I would just say, like, every team is close. And, the Patriots are going to most likely have, right now as we start the season, I'm going to say a top 10 defense. They do play some tough offenses. You look at their opening 5-game schedule. Not until they get to Game 6 in Las Vegas, do I think that they are going to be significantly better than the team that they're playing. But Philadelphia, Miami, New York Jets, the Dallas Cowboys, and New Orleans, man, that is a murderer's row of teams. And all of those teams are going to be in the mix for the playoffs. So to me, they're all close, Wiggy, to go back to your initial question. And I do think that coaching has a lot to do with this. And there are a couple of new coaches in this division, including Vic Fangio down in Miami, that are going to make it really, really interesting. So I just, could the Patriots be 10-7, 9-8? I think that's probably what we're looking at.
All right, Boomer. Question of the week presented by McFarland Energy, the trusted source in Greater Boston, the North Shore, and all of Cape Cod for home heating, oil delivery, and HVAC work. And we do this every year. Your picks for the Super Bowl?
The Jets and the Eagles.
Wow.
Okay. That's the kind of prediction that wins you a Marconi right there.
That's exactly right, man. And I know you're going to hold the door open for me.
That's about it.
I am interested to know your thoughts when it comes to Bill, though, because if the division were to play out like that and you say coaching, he's still the best coach, do you think his job is in trouble at all? There are some people here saying that if they have another tough season, they miss the playoffs, Bill could be out of town.
Those some people are idiots.
Right.
I mean, you see Gillette Stadium. Did you see the new renovations? Do you see all the success that the Patriots have? Everybody knows who they are because of the success that Bill Belichick has brought to that team. So I mean, anybody that ever even talks about firing Bill Belichick would be idiotic. And the fact is the question really should be, how much longer does he want to do this? Because I think he has a contract in perpetuity for as long as he wants to coach.
Boomer, as always.
I hope Curtis is listening.
Yeah, because Curtis is on that.
Curtis is being quiet over there. That's what he's doing. He isn't saying much. Boomer, as always, great to talk to you. I'm so glad you're back on the show, and we'll talk to you again next week.
All right, look forward to it, guys. Let's hope for a unbelievable season. I have a feeling in my bones this is going to be crazy.
Awesome. Thanks, Boomer.
All right, guys. See ya.